Salute to y'all family. And this is a different kind of scenery today. You know, I want to switch it up for everybody who's tuning into the channel, yo. Because it's a channel for glowing, but this is a channel for learning and transmuting your energy wise, y'all. If you are tapped into my channel, y'all, well, I make a bunch of videos. They're not all the same. They're of different niches, to be exact. But I teach in every video, y'all, that you don't want to stay submissive no matter how hard you want to tap out in this life, or no matter what's going on right now, y'all. Yes, I understand that you might be losing, y'all, because you're in that mentality. But you can never be a failure, or you can never lose if you're someone that doesn't want to lose, which is you don't have to have everything now, y'all. You know, that's what's wrong with most of this population, y'all. They act as if just because they don't have something, you know, in their arsenal that they have lost, or if they don't have anything to show for, y'all, they feel like they're not worth nothing, y'all. But that's not necessarily the goal or why you feel that way. It's just you feel like you haven't worked, you know, to your potential, y'all. In this life, y'all, I remind you that everybody in a way wants to win, y'all. Everybody wants to win, no matter if you're a woman or a male. You want to win because you would like that side of what winning gives you, y'all. What does winning give you, y'all? It gives you not only a boosted ego or a boosted of self-esteemness, but you also don't have to do as much because you already worked your hard, you know, in the earlier stages of this life or this reality. That's why I say, family, whatever you are focused on or whatever your craft, you know, it seems to be, you want to focus on that majority of your life if you are truly somebody that wants to stick with that goal, because not everybody knows what they want to do. A lot of people out here are struggling, y'all. You know, people are literally putting in applications, y'all, for jobs that they don't really want to be at. You know why? Because they realize that they got to get out of here some way. But the goal is to, like I say, use your money wisely, but in a way, manage your time, y'all. So what are you good at, y'all? You know, whoever's watching me on the other side of this camera, you know, you might as well just have found me, y'all, out of nowhere, y'all, because my channel is not heavily pushed out yet, y'all. I make YouTube videos for those who are looking for, like I say, improvements, improving, choosing the day in the life of improving over neglecting, y'all. You know, this is not about what you indulge in, what your sex appeal is, whether you drink or smoke. I'm not, you know, putting that onto y'all in any type of way or leisure, y'all, because I know free will and I know everybody has the right to do what they pleased. But I do have a problem with the people who are comfortable and are stuck in that manner, because I know you don't like it, but you're, you know, feeling like you know, that's the only thing you know, so you're just gonna choose to be there. And that's, you know, where most people and their, you know, creativity starts to fade, y'all, because while you're seeing this potential in your brain, but you're not really, you know, putting it out worlds, y'all, your reality, y'all, well, you will never see no changes that way, y'all, because in a world like this, y'all, you're hoping for something to happen. But I tell y'all constantly, y'all, you must have work put behind that thought, you know. So this video that I necessarily wanted to talk about is that, you know, you will have obstacles and things that are gonna try to go against your limitations, y'all. So in a world like this, y'all, that's why I push on to the ones who watch these videos that, you know, you want to have a clear mind. You want to have a mind that is not so of, you know, cloudiness, but just a pure void within your brain, because you don't want to have to worry about much, you know, family. And I'm gonna take my jacket off, family, because, you know, we outside with this video today, y'all. I don't really do vlogs, but I will start doing them one day, y'all, if the channel wants that. What I'm here to do, though, is to remind you that as I'm outside, y'all, glowing on a, you know, this Christmas that we want to call, you know, where you're chilling with your families and shit like that, y'all. I'm out here alone because I realize that a true go-getter is someone who's gonna go get it any way he can, y'all. And if I'm not trying to go somewhere and go get the prize, well, then I know that I'm the prize, y'all, because I'm the one creating this channel. I'm the one pushing it out for the people who enjoy content like this, y'all. There's over 1 million, 1 billion, over a gazillion motherfuckers on this planet, y'all. So you can't tell me that whatever you do, people ain't gonna like you, you know? There's so many people out here, y'all. So everybody taps into something different. Some people like this, y'all, because in a world like this, they're probably living in negativity, and they're just looking for any kind of positive outsource that gives them that boost to stand up, you know? But there's also people who live in just positive realities, y'all, and don't even live off of, you know, social media. They live off the grid, y'all, because they realize that there's nothing good that comes from it, you know? But I highly advise y'all to choose your thoughts wisely, y'all, and stick to what, like I say, brings you happiness, y'all. You know, I understand, y'all, that, you know, if you are a man in this world, you know, you want a pretty woman later, you know, or you know, if you have her now, y'all, you're just fighting to keep that position, you know, yours, you know, because in a world like this, everybody's in competition. I don't look at it like that, y'all, but most people do, because they're afraid of, you know, what can happen, because, you know, you might be too emotional, y'all. You need to cut that sensitivity off about your character, y'all, because you are a character no matter what. Everybody's looked at as a character in this life. But I remind you that you don't want to be a character forever for somebody, y'all, you know? So, in this video, man, I hope that you learned that I can't be comfortable, man. You know, you are comfortable for a reason, y'all. You might not know what it is, y'all, but you're in the process of finding your purpose as soon as you let go. You want to let go of everything, y'all. Connections, people, places, you know. You want to clear your mind to where it's just you and your self as oneness, y'all, because you will start focusing on things that you like to do or that give you a sense of curiosity, y'all. And that's why I remind you that you want to keep going on this path of, you know, longevity, but also in elevating and improving, y'all, you know. For all the people who wanted to be YouTubers, y'all, they didn't blow up off of their first 100 videos, or they didn't blow up off of their first, like I say, maybe even 1,000. You know, what took someone farther and you know, working, y'all, is loving what they do, and also, like I say, showing up. You know, think about it like this, y'all. Say you work a job, right, and you love that job. You know, I'm always talking about the ones that don't like it, but necessarily, let's say you like your job and you make good money. Well, I suggest you, if you love what you are doing and that's your passion, y'all, why not, you know, overtime that hoe? You know, work a double shift on multiple occasions, y'all, because you're not there for the money, because you're there, like I say, to fulfill your duties. The money is not something you can obtain and do things with, y'all, because it's not majestic. All it does is grant you more, like I say, freedom, because it covers everything that is of what cost, y'all, you know. You don't. You're just the value that is able to acquire that. And so it happened, you know. So my main, you know, thing for you, y'all, whoever's watching this video, is to just focus on, like I say, what you are doing and what you must do in the future, y'all. You know, like I tell y'all, if y'all are struggling, well, it's time to look in that mirror and look at the things you don't like about yourself. And that's probably why I'm struggling now, family, you know. Hard work, you know. Oh, everybody wants to talk about hard work, y'all, but it's about putting in less work and showing up. You know, that hard work is just gonna drain you or make you feel like, you know, you're never getting nowhere, y'all, because you're showing up and putting too much work behind, you know, something that is of not what was truly meant to be, you know. So for my people, y'all, who are, let's just say, they're becoming YouTubers, or they're becoming, you know, a content creator, they're on TikTok and shit, like I say, making, you know, their own niches, right? Well, they're not necessarily looking at it from a perspective of an 80-year-old, y'all, because most people are not looking that far ahead. They're looking at what they can do, y'all, to, you know, not necessarily be someone, y'all, but to push out, you know, something of peace into this world of chaos, you know. Everybody wants to change the world, y'all, but it will never take one person, y'all, because one person can't do it on their own, y'all. You know, it takes many people to get on a wave of indulging into yourself, man, and to love you, for the world to see that for what it truly means, you know. I'm not gonna make this video too long, but I just got on the camera to tell everybody I wish y'all, a Merry Christmas to everybody who's choosing to participate in this holiday that we call, like I say, Christmas. Not everybody fucks with Christmas, and not everybody is around people that they, are supposed to be around, which is family. But I'm here to remind you that, there's more to life than that shit. I just want y'all to remember that y'all gotta focus, and that it's gonna take time to build your legacy up, your empire, or whatever you want to call, like I say, your way to freedom, But I'm here to remind y'all though that if you show up one day, one day can change your life, y'all. All it takes is one day. All it takes is you showing up. All it takes is forever who's behind this camera, y'all watching me right now, is to, listen to this motivation and tell yourself that whatever you're doing now, I must focus. I must get this bag. I must get, like I say, my body, worked out. I must, like I say, glow even brighter out here, because it's all about awareness. It's all about gaining knowledge, and it's about putting that knowledge to good use, family. If you're a smart being, y'all, you don't want to grow in a world flexing what you have, but you want to go out in a world flexing knowing that you are what you perceive yourself to be, because not everybody sees herself in a highly righteous manner, y'all. People are scared to be themselves. People are usually fitting in with the crowd, or people just, like I say, living off the net because they don't know how to stand up and, take control of their reality, y'all. So as I give y'all this video, man, I want to remind you that there's many things you can do, warrior, but only you can do that. Nobody else has the power to, like I say, do things for you, because you must really want to do that, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But as long as you put the inner work in every day, as long as you show up, even whenever, there might be some times you don't want to, you will see progression, y'all. Because I seen progression, y'all. Not only in this, but in everything I have put myself used to. When I started working, y'all, I always seen them checks go up. But what made me happy, y'all, was knowing that I put those checks somewhere else, y'all. I invested in myself. I put those into companies, into ETFs, into things that were gonna make my money work harder for me, y'all. So that's why I truly gained a sense of awareness to know that it's not just about how much harder I work, but it's knowing that my money has to work harder for me, y'all. If you've been having dividends for a long time, because you realize that it's not about the money, because the money is just looked at as a tool, y'all. It's like you, when you go to work, y'all, you are a tool to everything that you are working on, right? But it's once you develop how creative and how smart you become at that, then you become a highly favored tool. And that right there is what gets you, like I say, everything you want. Because you always hear somebody talking about learn a skill or get a trade, or you hear about, work smarter. But the true wisdom behind that is, the better you and more proficient you are at something, the more you will get out of it, y'all. It's just like how you work hard and no one could do what you are doing necessarily, right? Maybe that is the case. Well, you must find a way to get everything functioning like that, that's outside of you, whether it's your money, whether it's your time, whether it's just something that you are trying to get, If you own property or you own land now, y'all, well, you know that when I buy this land, you must know that people must, renovate it out before you can even get anything in return, y'all. Because if the house is not, like I say, in a way that is presentable, y'all, nobody's gonna want to be there. So, all that money you put in that motherfucker was for nothing, y'all, because you're not gonna get shit back, y'all, if that shit ain't bought. You know what I'm saying, y'all? So you must make the right, like I say, choices on the chess piece of that board, This was the video though, family. I just got on here to remind y'all that everything that you are doing right now was for you to do in this purpose of life, man. It's just that you cannot stop now, even if you feel tired. Whether you take the break, y'all. I'm not saying don't take a break. I'm just reminding y'all that you don't want to stay stuck forever, y'all, because you won't get out of this world, or you will feel like you're in a loophole your whole life, you know? There are 3 things in this world, y'all, that matter the most. That is peace, 1. 2, the way you feel. And 3, like I said, y'all, freedom. True freedom. Knowing that you can do whatever you want to do and still live life knowing that you are inadequate or at peace with that, right? Other than that, y'all, I just gave y'all the keys to life right now, man. I just gave y'all the keys to life, man. It's just, you must have that ambitious behind you. You must be someone with majestic energy, y'all. You must be taking your life so serious to where I can't let life, like I say, neglect me or defeat me, or I'm feeling like I can't do it, y'all, because there will be those days that will be thrown at you, y'all. I promise you, you will get those days to where you don't want to do nothing. So that's why I hope you plan on changing your brain or your mind state until I will get it done no matter what, you know? I will fulfill this no matter what, yo, because I came down here to be somebody to help the world, to remind the world why it's your time, you know? But this was the video though, family. If you have watched to the end, I just want to remind you that you're not missing out on nothing or nobody. It's just, you know, you must get yourself right first before you are worrying about everybody else in this world, y'all. Because, you know, it's not about how much I have or how much I got to my name, but it's about how am I living? Am I at peace with myself? Do I truly find myself as a being that's comfortable to partake in new things, you know? You must get on a level to where you find, you know, yourself as someone who you are truly the closest to, you know? But I hope that this, if you have found this video, man, it hits you in a different way, because not everybody is going to be able to exploit and talk on a camera like as if they know what they are doing, y'all. Most people don't have confidence in the world, y'all. And it's not that people, they love that confidence, but they love an energy knowing to where you feel good about yourself in every way. So that's what people truly find, you know, attractive, or what makes you gravitate to people, y'all. You must see that in your mind though first. You know, you must look at yourself like as someone who's a businessman or a fortune teller, because if you are someone that doesn't necessarily have much confidence in you, or you're just not feeling true to what you're doing or what you're talking about, people are not gonna fuck with you because you're not standing out in authenticity, y'all. Authenticity is the most, you know, respected asset that you will ever get, because you can only acquire that by either, 1, having the discipline, and having the, if you want to say, let's just look at it like you must go out in this world, y'all, and have experience, right? So you might as well have experience on that as well. But I've been on this camera for almost 20 minutes, y'all, and the glow is looking amazing, y'all. I have a glow, y'all, because, you know, I have showed and told God that I was going to stay close to myself, practice what I preach, and eventually show the world how to do the same, y'all. Once I woke up and found out about my purpose, y'all, all I have been doing is pushing out these videos to maybe help y'all, because, you know, if God woke me up today, well, he's counting on his soldiers to wake up the next and the next and the next, y'all, by remembering your power as a man. What is your power? Your power is to, like I say, stay quiet, move with this energy that you were obtained with, and to, like I say, don't do much. Let your glow be the reflective outside of your reality, y'all. So, and I'm gonna be honest with you, people are gonna love that, or they're gonna jealous, envy, and, you know, walk away from that because they feel like they are not, if you want to call it, they don't truly have what it takes in them to stand up to you. So in a way, you can say that they don't have what it takes to be around your vicinity, y'all, because they feel bad that they don't like who they are when they're around you, because they see someone that loves themselves. They see someone who has went through the flaws. They see someone who has stood out, because they find everything about them as oneness. According to the other person, y'all, they feel maybe so much stuck. They feel like they can't get out. They feel like, you know, there's some things that they don't like about their own self, y'all. And that's the difference. You found peace, and the other person, y'all, found, like I said, just stagnation, or they don't feel comfortable. You gotta have comfort in yourself before you truly want to be comfortable, y'all. But the video, this was, man. I hope that you took it to heart, and I hope y'all are enjoying y'all days that are to come, y'all. But this is until the next video, y'all. I'll see y'all on the next one. Stay up, man. Stay blessed, and stay woke.